Is it still a show?
I don't think so. And we are live.
Surprise!
Surprise! Surprise!
Here we are. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeedly doodly.
You do that quite well.
Yeah, the Ned Flanders.
Yeah, I can do the dope, but that's about it.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I used to be fairly good at voices when I was younger, and
yeah,
I think as I get older, it kind of some of them stayed, some of them went. You know,
I used to do voice impersonations, cartoon characters, and the like, and now that I'm a lot older, I just do characterizations.
Yeah,
you know, the old man or the Southern coot, or
Yeah. Well, all right, Phil. Let's
Oh, the old lady. The old lady's my favorite. I can still do her pretty good.
Yeah. Well, let's start this show off right, Phil.
What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna mute you.
Okay.
And then you can unmute yourself when we're done with the intro, which we're starting now, by the way.
On rare occasions, two men of questionable morality and ethics come together to spew bullshit into microphones on the internet. This is The Secret Show, only on the big screen.
Released in its original 8mm.
That's right.
With your host, Chris York.
Skookum cigarettes.
And co-host, Phil Poling.
It's the Bigfoot urine that gives it flavor.
You too can smoke urine-flavored cigarettes in the woods and look like an asshole.
And smell like one, too. They slide, huh?
Yeah, slide. It's like the electric slide.
The electric slide.
Yeah. So let's start this thing there, Phil. Hello. Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
Hanukkah. I don't know if it's with the CH, is it still Hanukkah or is then it Chanukah or Hanukkah? I don't know. Festivus, whatever you fucking celebrating.
Kwanzaa.
Merry, jerk off in a fucking plant. I don't give a shit. Whatever makes you happy. Just don't
That's what Christmas is all about.
Just don't hurt anybody.
Get your own little piece of life. Come together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little presents. A couple of parties.
Yeah. Open some gifts.
Get shit faced. Whatever you like. Whatever you like.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it all happens today.
Little impromptu Christmas gathering for myself this evening.
Really? How so?
Yeah. I didn't have any plans this evening. And this morning, my cousin I got in touch with him, wishing everybody Merry Christmas back and forth. You know how you do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's, I'm like, what are you up to today? And I'm going here. And then I'm headed to Mom and Dad's later for lobster and clams. And I'm like,
lobster and clams.
So, so I said, well, you might see us. And sure as shit, they did. It was a good time. My aunt and uncle put on a thing that's just for adults. Christmas night. and it's a pretty neat little get together. So
Yeah, those are
we went
always
up there
good.
and did that, and it was a good time. So
That's the way
Plan on-
Christmas started out.
planning on doing it next year.
Yep.
The problem is they live so fucking far away, Phil. You know, it's an hour fucking drive up to see them. Great people, awesome people.
Yeah,
love hanging
yeah.
out with them. Love having a good time with them.
Yeah.
But that fucking hour drive's a bitch.
Look. It beats the hell out of sitting 5 hours in an airport.
Hey, yes, this I will agree with you on.
I just won't do
airport.
it. I mean,
oh god, listen, I did a shit ton of air travel over the course of a very short period of time, as far as years. I went out to Arizona, went out to California 3 different times. And I mean, air travel can take the wind right out of your sails.
It just drains your ass.
Especially if you've got an entire day of travel. Like I remember my first trip out to California. My initial flight out of Portland, because I scheduled it out of Portland so that I wouldn't have to travel down to Boston, so it would be an easy flight out, you know. And I just wouldn't, when I got home, I would fly into Portland and I would not have that far of a drive, rather than, because flying out of Boston is usually a lot cheaper, but then you have the travel time. Once you get back, you've got a 2.5 hour drive home. So I'd scheduled it that way. So I get to Portland Jetport, and lo and behold, my flight's canceled. And the only way that I can get out is to drive down to Boston, stay the night in a hotel, and fly out in the morning. So I go down to Boston, which they gave me a free voucher for the hotel, like free food for the night. You know, they give you, money, vouchers and shit for it. And so I went down, stayed the night, left out in the morning, and that entire day of traveling was just, because initially the day before I had planned, hey, you've got all this travel time, you're gonna be on a plane, make sure you're tired, so I was gonna sleep on the plane. So then no, I slept in a fucking nice comfortable hotel bed all night, got up in the morning and was wide awake all the way to California. And it takes all the energy out of you, all that, like, trying to catch your flights, especially if you've got connections. I don't know how it's been for you, Phil, but
well, when we did that show back east up in near Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, what is that? Not Montreal. Is that Montreal?
It's Ontario.
We
that's right near where Fred lives. I think he's in Kingston.
Fred Dunn, yeah. We got to the airport in Seattle, and the flight's canceled. Not our flight, but the flight coming in to pick us up, to take us up to Vancouver, which is our connection, was canceled. So we had to take another flight through Delta or someplace, and they said no, that's canceled. So we had to go to another one. So this is the third time. Yeah, we finally get up to Vancouver, and our connection flight is long gone. So now we have to.
Oh, that was fun. God. Those days, like I mean, I can remember, like, the first time I had an issue where I got to the airport and I had to run to get to my next flight. And those are not fun. The stress that it puts on you, the traveler, it's just and I'll tell you another thing. Those people at the airports and on the airline on the airplanes, they don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh hell no. Oh no.
There used to be a modicum of service. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. Back in the 1940s, you have a little sleeper thing up there, a little bunk and everything. You can sleep. They have a little for the women. You go back and they have a little makeup room back there. I mean, they have all kinds of stuff.
Oh, dude, the way that air travel has literally changed. Like, they've got you, like, by the balls. And
Well,
once,
you're like cattle, and you're put into a little spot, and they're making the spot. They put you into smaller and smaller.
yeah, and not only that, but like I said, they don't give a shit. Like you have a problem with something, like you're trying to they sir, are you being aggressive, sir? It's
right.
like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. I think what we need to do though is like we seriously need to just fucking they need to figure it out better. Like the whole airport part, they got to figure it out better.
I think they're starting. We have a new airport, Payne Field, which is 5 miles from my house.
Mhm.
And they have 17 flights out of there a day. They have only 2 airlines that come in and out. The locate where they can fly to is limited.
Right,
But it's
right.
it's like a dream, though. I mean, you walk in, and they have in the hotel. I say hotel, but in the lobby of this place, they have sofas and stuffed chairs and big fireplaces. It's unreal.
Mhm.
And you get onto your plane. There's no problem at all. It's just a dream come true. And I think that's kind of where the industry is aiming for, is going further out from the major cities to service other smaller cities. I mean, you can go from here, Everett, Washington, you can go, Los Angeles, you can go to Las Vegas or whatever.
The problem there being though is that you have to take a connector.
We went straight from here.
That's the thing, but that's the thing about my air travel. Like, if I ever want to go anywhere, I live in Maine.
Right.
Anywhere is a pretty far flight. I mean, the closer places I'm better off to drive. Like New York, it's 5 hours away by car.
Mm-hmm.
Better off to just drive. But any flight I take, for the most part, I can't get one. I can't get a direct flight out of Portland.
You can't get there from here.
Right. I can't get there from fucking here. And as cliche as that may fucking sound, it's true. And it makes for a long day when you have a connecting flight, especially if you're trying to find, air travel to a certain place. And all you can find on this particular day that's within your budget or whatnot, even if you're going outside of your budget, a lot of times it doesn't fucking matter. You have like a 4-hour window between, so you're sitting in a fucking airport somewhere, or even longer. I've seen layovers as long as like 8 hours.
Well, it's better than a crop duster out of Weippe, Idaho.
But it's just, I mean, it does. It really takes everything out of you the day that you do it, and then you're almost taking a day to unwind once you get wherever you're going.
But yeah, you're right about running for the flights, because when you miss a flight, you miss your connection, and you're trying to hook up with another connection in another airport, and you find out, no, this connection's closed. You have to run all the way to the other side of the airport to catch the other connection. It's bizarre. But anyway, air travel sucks.
No fucking drunk. I don't drink, Charles. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You spew the biggest amount of bullshit.
I do.
And usually that's what gets people where I get to the point where I just don't acknowledge you at all. So, I mean, it's happened to a few people.
Well, when it's the holidays, people presume that you're going to imbibe in something. They just don't know what.
Yeah. Well, needn't worry about that. I'm not that type of person, Phil.
You do imbibe in one thing.
Imbibe in something.
Something.
I'm a responsible person, though, Phil.
Well, of course you are, Chris. I mean, I don't, those people, what they say about you, I mean, I don't care what they think, as far as you know.
They don't know how I live my life, Phil. They don't know how I get around. They don't know.
It's an old Beach Boys song, isn't it? I get around.
Round, 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 I get around. Round, round,
Yeah,
get around.
Christmas.
It is Christmas.
Now I missed the. Now you did a Freudian slip show about Christmas, didn't you? Or
Yes, Christmas mysteries.
mysteries.
Yes,
Oh,
Christmas
I
mysteries.
missed the show.
It was more we did two like major not they're just strange cases. Like the first one was it's a couple, not a couple, but this woman was found murdered in Texas. I can't remember where. And her husband and his son, which is not her son, were missing. So the father obviously becomes a person of interest. The son lived with his mother. So instantly they thought this is like a kidnapping type of thing. Father's taken off, shot the fucking woman.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And, lo and behold, years later, all of a sudden the cops turn it around. And they're like, no, we're now looking at this as he's a missing person. And he's not a person of interest anymore. They got rid of the warrant for his arrest, and they now think that everybody ran of some foul play, and it hasn't been solved. It's an unsolved case, and it happened right on Christmas. The other one is a Jane Doe suicide, where she committed suicide in a cemetery, left $50 in two separate envelopes, one to the coroner and one to the funeral parlor or whoever, to take care of her remains. And no one has ever been able to figure out who she is.
I'll be down.
She took some pills, drank some booze, taped a bag around her head, and she had headphones on her head playing an old comedy routine.
Of course. I mean, if you're gonna go laughing.
Yeah, you might as well go with a smile on your face.
Yeah, why not?
Jack Nicholson said it best.
Maybe that was on our bucket list.
If you're gonna go, Phil, go with a smile. Yeah, I mean,
that was weird though. I mean, you'd think that did they check if she was in the graveyard, was she like on top of someone's grave?
So here's the thing. She was found. This is really weird. She was found in the where the babies that are Katie's in the chat too. She might know. She can probably throw it out at me. Katie, where the fuck was she found? What section of the graveyard? I know it was in where the babies were, but was it the unnamed ones, the ones that were born or before birth, or I can't fucking remember, and she'd know. She's fucking right on this shit.
No, maybe she was in the pet cemetery.
She could have been in the pet cemetery, and if she'd been in the pet cemetery, wouldn't that mean she'd be back, Phil?
No, I didn't think of that.
Wouldn't that mean she'd be back?
Maybe
I can pop it up, but if Katie answers me, I mean,
did you give Katie a heads up that you're going to be on?
Well, she was in the chat, so that's why I said if she's still listening.
No, I mean prior to that.
Oh yeah, I told her I told her I was going to be doing a show tonight, or that a show was on the table. So I mean, she could have produced if she'd wanted to, but I wasn't going to ask her on fucking Christmas.
So
Phil.
It wasn't a surprise.
Not to mention, I don't like to bring my female producers on when you are in the mix.
Well, why not, Chris?
Phil,
I'm a
listen,
friendly
I
guy.
don't want.
I'm a lovable person.
I'm gonna have to bring it up because now it's freaking gonna bug the crap out of me until I look and
okay, we'll set the timer and
listen. All right, so Andale Jane Doe. She was found in the infant section of the cemetery. That's all it says.
Hmm.
But they couldn't find, like, in the area that she was in, they couldn't find any child that they could link to her. But on her person, she had like a little pink fanny pack or something for a child. She put a little Christmas tree by her head, like a tiny little Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, she had a Jeff Foxworthy tape on her. The one that she was listening to. But yeah, no, they still to this day they haven't figured out who the fuck she is.
Some of these things might add up to a certain meaning.
A meaning, yeah.
It might have a meaning to it of some kind.
Well, yeah.
In their lives,
figured it out.
In their lives, a clue.
A clue. Listen, Detective Phil. Listen, fucking Mannix.
Oh, Mannix, yeah.
Listen, Rockford. I don't fucking have time for your bullshit tonight.
Yeah, Rockford. That's a little closer, I think.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And we are doing the Missing 411 show this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Are you still coming?
I might as well.
Are you still ready to fucking argue?
Well, yeah, my mind is open.
Oh,
it's just that it's not open far enough for my brains to fall out.
And you also know that I'm not a fan of the paranormal aspect of these disappearances. Yeah. So, like, the thing is that we're on the same page for the most part when it comes to the Missing 411. And my big thing with it now is the fact that I think that the way we deal with missing persons as a country, as a whole, across the board, just needs to change. Like, we need to look at it totally different than the way we do now, because I've seen it time and time again when I see the ones where there's some weird thing or it's still unsolved or whatever the case is, it's somehow mishandled. Like, this in some way, like the crime scene is like, because people look at it like, well, they're not missing, and the crime scene is just trampled all over or whatever. You know what I mean? Because people are just.
And here again, and I have to agree with you, because a cold case file requires 100 times the man hours to solve than if you had done it right in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Putting the cart before the horse. I mean,
because what are they doing? Because what are they doing with a cold case file? They're just rehashing old shit.
That's correct, but
with a new set of eyes,
right,
being paid for that time
and new tech.
Yeah. And it just to me, if we could find a way. And I'm not saying, listen, when I say this, I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying there's a problem here and these people are the fucking problem. No, this is a blanket wide problem. It needs to be looked at differently. It needs to be approached differently, especially, I think, in regards to the Missing 411 in the national parks. I mean, the national park system, there's no database, there's no nothing. Something's got to change. Yeah,
the problem though is that the tax base doesn't support anything beyond peacekeepers in more rural areas.
Yeah, and they need it really does need to.
And
to that.
And for example, here in the state of Washington, state police were funded under the general fund. There was no earmarked monies specifically for state police.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and the general fund is used for all sorts of things, and whatever basically is left over, the state police gets it.
Mm-hmm.
and in smaller communities, when you don't have the access to state police, unless you call them on the phone, in which case they might come out in a few days, you're pretty much strapped. And you just don't have the personnel to carry on any kind of in-depth forensics.
We have whole sections of Maine that are not, where there's no town police whatsoever. It is you have only county and state, and you will rarely see them.
Oh, it's that way all over. I mean, Montana's that way too.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because when we were driving up to Porter today, we ran across like 2 or 3 counties, and it's rare. It's rare that I see that many. It's probably because it's the holiday, and they're just like, people are gonna be out drinking on Route 25 tonight. And I know that's what they're doing. It's very, very obvious. But there's more places that I know of in Maine where there's no town cops. They just
and there is usually, and if there is, it could be just one guy, the town marshal type of guy.
They don't even, a lot of them don't even have that, Phil. They seriously don't. It's just the county sheriffs, and they'll have a whole area of towns to patrol. And I was surprised. Like, the town I grew up in, Buxton, has a police force. Leamington, Standish, and Hollis, the other towns that were in the high school that I went to, none of them did.
Right.
They all had county and state. So anytime we were getting into trouble in Buxton, we were having to deal with the Buxton cops, which were right up our ass because they were always around. In the other towns, they were like, we never have to deal with that shit.
And then someone gets offed, and now you're dealing with some county mountie, and he's trying to figure it out when he's got other calls to handle.
Yeah, it sounds kind of Wild Westish, and in a way, it is.
Yeah, this whole country's basically still in that era. You look at Hang 'em High. Remember Hang 'em High when Clint Eastwood was told, "This is 800 square miles here in Texas, and you're the guy."
Yeah, you're the guy. You're the dude.
Go do it.
Have that. Have fun. Good times. Great oldies. No, I do. I look at it like it is kind of Wild West, because you look at a lot of these areas where it's like that, and I won't say that you find your a riffraff, but it's like fringe living. It's really odd living. The people that are out in the sticks, like, they find their own little niche. I mean, it's cool. Like my aunt and my uncle, they have their own little group of people up there. It's fucking cool.
The only thing is that our society has changed to such a point that it's no longer we take care of our own kind of an attitude from the public. It used to be that way. It used to be, my neighbor, this happened to my neighbor, we're going to go find the asshole who did it. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and also because it was taken too far too.
Well, that too.
But
the crime rate went down.
Because then you had lynch mobs, dude. Right. And we know that public, those tribal mentalities, that shit never works out right.
No, yeah, it can go too far. But I'm just saying, neighbor looking out for neighbor type of thing, or looking out for yourself. These days, if you look out for yourself and someone's invading your property and they get in your face with a weapon of some sort, you shoot them, you're the one that goes to jail.
Yeah,
that's society needs to change a little bit before.
No, I agree. And the idea that someone, the one case that really baffled me was the guy that had broken into someone's house, hurt himself while he was in the house, and then wound up suing the homeowner. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's Yeah, you can sue anybody for anything.
Yeah, it baffles me, like the what's allowed. Just what's allowed across the table with lawsuits.
Yeah, old
Lawsuits
man.
that,
Yeah, old man living alone. Some guy breaks into his house.
yeah.
Okay, week later, someone breaks into his house. Week after that, someone breaks into his house. So he sets up a trap to catch whoever the fuck it is breaking into his goddamn house. The guy falls into the trap, gets seriously injured, and sues the guy and wins.
How does that work?
It's premeditated, see?
But I don't understand. How does that work? This guy was breaking the law to begin with, breaking
Correct.
into this man's house. He invaded this man's home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Dear God.
Yeah. I know.
And you know, when they say,
you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing is that's one of the problems with our society is it isn't so far with the laws that have been passed. The problem is that how the laws are either enforced or seen in court. Now, you know that there were some fucked up jurors who found this guy guilty or who sided on the bad guy.
That's the stuff I don't understand how that shit happens. I don't get it.
Stupid people. That's how it happens.
Oh,
I know, right?
Yeah, it is mind-boggling to think that would happen. Yeah. I knew a dummy. I knew a dummy. You'll love this story. I knew a dummy when I was younger, and this asshole, he broke into this guy's home, got into his garage, stole a bunch of his tools, and a bunch of other things. Left, got into his car, went to drive up the road, car broke down. Went back to the guy's house with the guy's tools sticking out of his back pocket and knocked on the door to use the phone.
Makes perfect sense.
Guy saw the tools in his back pocket, immediately called the police.
You know, there are a lot of bad seed out there who just think they're Superman. Really, they don't think they're going to get caught. They don't think they're going to get hurt until it happens, and then they sue.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you as well, Swamp Girl.
Swamp Girl. Yeah.
Swamp Girl, longtime fan of the show. Yeah. And these idiots are everywhere, Phil. They're fucking everywhere.
I know, Chris. What are we gonna do?
God damn it!
What are we gonna do, Chris?
Why you always
everywhere?
Why you always touching my hair?
They're everywhere, Chris.
The only time anybody respects me is when I'm down at the disco.
Did that pretty good. Not bad.
Every once in a while, Phil. Like I said, I used to be able to do voices.
Yeah.
I used to be able to just spit out a bunch of them, and I just can't. Like my voice, probably from fucking smoking for so many years. It's probably half the problem.
That could be it. Yeah.
That can have something to do with it.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of them fucking skookum cigarettes.
Yeah, I used to smoke them skookum cigarettes.
I used to.
They're really good.
I used to do skookum snuff. I'd stick it up my nose and then up my ass.
You know, I heard it's a Bigfoot urine that makes it taste good.
A bearded picker. Yeah, you're right. It does get worse every day. Shoot at a cop. Family wins the lawsuit.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. And it you know it sucks. Yeah. And listen, there's instances where they're wrong, and there's instances where they're in the right. You know, so people can say whatever they want. You know, as far as like, oh, fucking damn cops. Hey, there's people who fuck up everywhere. You know, so I don't want to fucking hear that. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, you know,
it's an idiot will say it. No, I'm not necessarily saying in our chat room right now.
Well, people
Say,
tend to forget that cops are people. Cops are people.
yeah,
And they're going to react to what's being fed to them, or how, if you're going to start throwing bricks at some guy,
right.
whether or not he wears a badge or not, makes no difference. The guy's going to come at you.
I think you and I both agree that when we're selecting our police officers, that we need to select more calm, level-headed, cool and collect guys that can assess situations properly.
Well, having been there myself, I can tell you that hiring procedures begins with an oral review board. I mean, a board. From there, you go through written testing and physical testing. Then you go to a polygrapher, and they have a series of questions, and they put you on a lie detector. This helps weed out some of the bad seed. They also send you to a doctor, a psychologist, and you have to take a psych exam. So it's not like they're not trying, but you're going to have guys that you got two kinds of guys that go into law enforcement. One, the guy that really wants to make a positive difference in the world, and they become disillusioned very quickly.
And that's I was just going to say that.
And then there's the asshole with an ego problem. And those guys get the job done, but they'll trample on somebody on the way.
Well, not only that, and not all of them will get the job done either.
Correct.
So here's the thing. So we touched on a couple different points there. So yeah, there's the cops that get into it, and they want to make a difference. They're like, I've got a badge, I'm the guy. I got it. With great power comes great responsibility, Phil. I have to be like Spider-Man. God damn it. And
that's true. That's really true.
And then they get out there, and then they realize, oh shit, this is a 9-to-5 job. I'm bagging groceries, but it just includes douchebags.
Right.
I mean, that's what they realize.
Yeah, people used to ask me, what's it like to be a cop? And I tell them, you know what? There's a difference between a cop and a garbage man. Okay? The difference is, with a garbage man, the cans don't fight them on the way to the truck, and they get paid more.
Yeah, and you're not fucking wrong. You're totally not fucking wrong. But okay, and then you have the other assholes. Okay, the ones you were saying, the guys who, and I sent you. I think I sent you this story. The guy that was planting meth on people down in Florida.
Oh yeah.
That motherfucker.
The guy went into it with some hero syndrome, and he felt, man, I gotta make a name for myself.
But
narcissistic, egocentric,
just planting fucking meth on unsuspecting people who had never done anything. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
At least he could have picked a drug dealer to do it with.
Right. Like, pick somebody with a nice long record,
Somebody with a rap sheet.
Maybe he got picked up last week for fucking beating his girlfriend or something.
Yeah.
Fucking plant some meth on him.
Yeah, I saw that video. God. I mean, it was kind of slick the way he had it kind of up his sleeve a little bit, had that little maybe he was a magician, in his early career.
Bearded picker. My brother is a retired Leo. If we closed trailer parks, it would have cut his calls by 75%. Again, not an untrue statement.
That is true.
There's a reason they call it trailer park trash, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, then again, there's the homeless in Seattle. So there you don't need a trailer park. You just live out on the street and shit in the streets and throw your food in the streets.
Sure.
Piss on a business wall and
sure.
Yeah, you can get away with that. No one's going to arrest you. Yeah, because there's nothing they're not planning on doing anything with them.
And here's another thing that's happened in this country that I think is a little despicable is all of these like procedural cop shows. I think it has made law enforcement look more amazing than it really is.
I would say, yeah, because all of those reality shows are edited.
Because no, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the reality shows. I'm talking about like Law and Order. I'm talking about like
I see what you're
CSI,
saying. Yeah,
NCIS,
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
these like it just makes this what is generally more of a mundane job this very edge of your seat non-stop
Well,
drama.
you know, here again, you're trying to sell a show, and in
Right.
those shows, it's always the good guys against the bad guys. We know who the good guys are. This is how they're going to go about it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be thrilling, and that's what the audience wants. I mean, reality? No, of course not.
No. And see, that's the problem. it because it's created this false
dichotomy.
Well, it's created this idea that there are all these techniques in law enforcement that work. Like
it's a lot of them that they show don't even exist, by the way.
Exactly. Like one of the big ones that really gets me is the bite mark one, which they have totally disproven.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of shows still use it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, people will believe in this shit. And
but there was one guy that was sent up the river because of a bite mark on somebody's skin. And it was so different that when they matched up with this guy that was you know, an interested person that they were thinking about, right, and they took his bite mark, it just about matched identical. It wasn't until years later that they found the actual guy who did it, and his bite mark actually matched better than the other guys.
The guy that
they sent up the river. Yeah.
Oh man, can you imagine just sitting in jail for years and knowing that you're an innocent? That whole Andy Dufresne fucking
right. But at least the guy came out clean on the other end. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, but not everybody fucking is Andy Dufresne.
Right.
Fucking Shawshank Redemption was a movie, motherfucker.
But
not everybody gets their boat in the fucking Pacific Ocean and Morgan Freeman walking up.
What gets me is the ones that are put away on, let's say, one piece of evidence, just one, and the jury finds him guilty. You know, the prosecutor brings the case to court, and he sells it. He sells it to the jury. The guy gets sent up, right? Years later, the guys get out after they find out he didn't do it. Do you think the guy would turn around and sue the damn city or the county? I would have.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I've seen cases.
I'm just happy to be out.
Okay, so here's the problem with that too. Okay. Excuse me. I saw one guy who is now thankfully behind bars. I won't mention names. He was accused of something that he was found innocent of by the Buxton Police Department. And he turned around and sued them and won. And anytime he did anything thereafter, they were so hesitant to respond that it was bad. And he was like doing things that he definitely shouldn't have been doing, that they should have been responding for. You know,
you told me about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy you knew in high school, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he is now in jail. And the judge that sentenced him literally slapped him with the biggest sentence that he could, because he was like, listen, I don't think you have learned or will learn a fucking thing, basically, is what he said.
Yeah, that's like the 3 strikes thing, you know?
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's been proven.
He gave
Goodbye.
him, and like I was reading over the whole case, and it's just like, yeah, and I do believe I did talk to you about that.
Mhm.
But that's what you run into with that when someone sues the police
Mhm.
department,
Mhm.
and then they win, and then the police department winds up being hesitant to respond to calls, because I know people that called about him, and they were just like, yeah, they wouldn't do a fucking thing, and I was like, are you kidding me?
That's kind of rare, though. I mean, if
It is
some,
rare.
you
It's
know,
very rare.
yeah.
But I was just like, but like I said, thankfully, like he did something that was enough that they couldn't not respond. He was firing a gun at someone's house.
Oh yeah, it's just target practice. You know, it's no big deal.
People.
You mean there's somebody in there?
Yeah, people had reported him having the gun, and he was a felon. But they didn't respond to that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
It was one of those things, allegedly, I guess. I don't fucking know all the details.
Well, as an officer, at least the ones that I've known and served with, we didn't give a shit about being sued because it's not our fucking money. All we're there for is to do our job. So it doesn't matter if some asshole sues the city. Right. We lose the lawsuit. If the asshole goes out and does something, we're going to respond because that's our job. And we can't be held liable because we're under the umbrella of the city and the police department.
Right. So, and you're also
as long
under
as
the
we're
union.
As long as we're performing our duties, legally performing our duties, we cannot be held personally accountable for any of it.
Yeah. You know what I miss though, Phil, honestly, is the cop in the town that everybody knows. That, not and I know it sounds cliche, and in a lot of those, in some of those cases, you run into issues where, yes, that person abuses their fucking power. But I remember back in the day having a cop that everybody knows in the town, him showing up to a party. And I'm talking early 90s. So this is long before pot legalization, which has now happened in the state of Maine. Mm-hmm. I'm at a party with a woman running around with a headdress made of pot leaves. I'm standing in a circle, smoking a joint with a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And as I turn, I see the town cop, I won't mention his name, walk up beside me. And I just go, oh, hi. And he just walks on by. Mm-hmm. Right up to the owner of the house, who we'd been playing, who'd been playing the music loud. And he's like, listen, just turn the music down. And of course, the homeowner was fucking drunk off his ass and had a decibel meter in his fucking hand. Goes, I got a fucking... And the cop, just as calm as could fucking be, dude, I won't say the guy's name, dude, just turn the fucking music down. Calmed him down, turned the music down, walked back out, got back in his cruiser, and left.
I'm not going to pull a Reverend Jeff on you.
A Reverend Jeff? And pull a better story?
I just want to let you know, I was that guy.
Yeah, I was that guy.
I was that guy. I had a job. It was a 3-man department on the Oregon coast. Mm-hmm. And when you're in that position where you're the only guy on at that time for the city, you have to pick your battles. You can't go after every, Tom, Dick, and Harry that decides.
But you also know, by being the guy in the area, these people aren't doing any harm.
Yeah, you know them. They know you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, we all knew this guy. I saw him day in, day out, just about.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So it was, it was kind of shocking at the time because I was young. So everybody else just took it in stride. I'm just like, And they're all just
Yeah,
like,
when you're a small town cop, you just have to make sure that the town stays a cool place to live.
yeah.
That's basically the bottom line.
And I remember what it was like back then, and when they knew you,
Hmm.
you know, they knew who you were, you know, and you would talk to them. You know, you didn't avoid them. If you were avoiding them, you were the guy in town that was the shithead.
You really do have to watch, as an officer in a small town, you got to watch your P's and Q's anyway, because they not only know your name, they know where you work, and they know where you live, and they know the names of all the members of your family. I mean,
Especially if you live in town.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Some places require you to live in town. So
Oh yes. Oh yes.
you have to be available. You know, when that phone rings at 1 a.m.
And we had one guy, oh my God. We had one sheriff. He after he retired, he just couldn't let go. He was one of them old guys.
Yeah.
He still had one of the old Impalas, and he still would just drive around town
Sure.
at like 15 miles an hour.
Yeah. And he'd probably stop and say, hey, Jerry. Hey, how's it going? I see your roses are pretty good this year.
Oh,
You know?
he'd stop to talk to people,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he would follow us kids when he thought.
Hey, what are you kids up to? It's part of the community watch program.
Oh, dude, we would fuck with him so bad.
Oh yeah.
We did.
He
too.
knew you were just having fun though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'd drive up the road, and we'd just like jog beside his car. Just drop your microphone there, Phil.
I did.
Your little stand.
Yeah. Now, I had a chief of police, and he lived in the same block. They had this golden lab, and this thing, every time he got in his car to come to work, this lab would run after his car and be biting at the rear tires and shit. Pissed him off, so he got one of the capstone canisters from the office. It's one of these big fuckers. I mean, you know, and it was a 10% capstone, so it was pretty awesome. And he had it in his car right next to him on the seat, and he's rolling down his window. He's going down. Here comes that fucking black lab, and he reaches out the window and he goes right into his own eyes.
Oh no!
True story. Damn near took out a neighbor's car. He had to turn around.
Oh Jesus! Could you imagine?
Oh no, I've been shot before with that stuff.
Right in your eyes?
In your yeah.
Oh. Ah, what's that feel like?
Well, it burns and it stings at the same time, and it gets into your eyes and your nasal cavity and your throat. So your all of your functions on your face kind of does one of these, like a closed sphincter. It just and just locks up.
Oh shit!
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, it's bad shit. You know, like that one movie on the train.
If it was a real Santa Claus, he'd be fucking maced in like the first or second house he came into.
Yeah, and he'd be getting some the fourth and fifth.
Ain't that the truth?
Santa baby.
Oh God, Santa fucking Claus! Did you see the space train, the SpaceX train, the satellites?
No,
you missed that one. I posted the picture of it on the 40 and Slip like page. Elon Musk put up a bunch of satellites, and they were in a line in the sky, and it looked like a train. And what it is, I guess, is he's rolling out like this whole broadband internet for like deep rural areas.
Okay.
And everybody thought it was a fucking UFO. It was fucking aliens, but it was just these satellites that he positioned in the sky in like a line. I'll see if I can find the picture on the like page. I put it up. So
people seem to forget that satellites are very visible, and if you're using an IR camera, they just glow. They glow.
Yeah. It's Facebook's taking forever to load, you bastards. Where'd I put you? Where'd I put you? Where'd you go?
The Jeopardy thing. Dun, 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 dun. Bum,
Oh,
bum,
by the way,
bum.
did you see Eddie Murphy return to Saturday Night Live?
No, I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
How's he looking these days?
This past fucking Jesus Christ. He looks amazing, dude. And
Son of a
he did
bitch.
they did Black Jeopardy and he did Velvet Jones.
Oh no.
Oh dude, it was great.
Oh man.
Oh, it was so
That's
great.
one
All right.
of his. That's one of his best characters.
Oh
he's
yeah,
ever done, yeah.
it's fabulous.
How does
If you haven't seen it, the clips are on fucking YouTube, and it is fabulous. He hasn't skipped a beat, dude. He did Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Right. Right.
This is the SpaceX satellite train, Phil.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and people thought it was, of course, fucking aliens.
Those are skydivers.
Skydivers?
Yeah. Yeah, those are night divers.
No, that's the SpaceX satellite train.
No, it's no.
No, that's what it is. That's it's what it's been looked into, Phil.
Yeah, I know. I looked into the other one.
Yeah, this one, Phil.
Oh. Well, show me the goddamn satellites. Get close to that thing.
I can't. That's all they have. This is the only pictures I got for you. Meteorologist Matt Rudkin there. Fucking, that's all he had. This is from Sarah Palmer.
Sarah Palmer? Is that a town?
Palmer.
Oh, Sarah Palmer. Oh,
I didn't pronounce my R. My main accent came through for a second.
Palmer. Yeah.
So that's the SpaceX satellite train. Because that Elon Musk, he's just fucking doing crazy shit.
Yeah, he's a pretty busy dude.
Yeah. He's like giving out all his patents and shit. Just like, here, make my
that.
shit.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a straight line. Yeah, it looked like that one video I did with, there was a group of, someone said was UFOs, and they were hanging over the town. And 5 miles away from where this guy was filming is a skydiving school, and they do night diving with flares and lights and shit.
Oh yeah. It's one of the things you have to do to get certified.
Yeah. So hey,
night dives. I looked into it because I was going to get certified. I've gone skydiving twice. I've gone once tandem, and I went once by myself.
You maniac!
Oh yeah. Listen, if my back wasn't as bad as it is, I would consider finishing getting completely.
I can't see the sense in jumping out of a perfectly good aircraft.
Well, see, now that's where you're wrong. This aircraft had crashed once, and it had a garage door on the side, so I felt pretty comfortable jumping out, Phil. It didn't have the greatest track record.
Well, there's some necessities. Now, if you have a back issue or something, the sport for you that's very much like skydiving is scuba diving.
See, I don't like the ocean. Not a fan of sharks.
Yeah, well, if your back hurts you and skydiving is out and you don't like the ocean, so scuba diving's out, there's always dung diving.
There's always virtual reality.
Virtual reality.
That's what I'm hoping for, Phil. I'm hoping for the virtual reality. I'm hoping so that I can go skydiving again virtually with a helmet on. And it'll be cool.
And a couple of strong fans.
Yeah. It'll be all right. I'll be like, yeah, this is cool. Look at me go.
Don't forget to put a few bugs in there.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that one that they have now? The virtual reality helmet. You put like a plank on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's like walk the plank, you're up on between two buildings or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Freak you the fuck out.
That's the shit, man.
You imagine just hey grandpa, put this on and walk around there.
Oh god.
What the fuck is this shit?
Listen, either one of my grandfathers, who are both dead, If I had fucking put a VR helmet on either one of them, they'd have fucking lost their shit.
Yeah, yeah, just fucking go. The fuck you trying
What
to
is
do?
this shit? They're doing some amazing
Trying to
things with
fucking
that
kill
fucking
me?
VR though. I mean, it's getting
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. Well, you know, they've got those what was it that my friend in China. Your friend in China. Yeah, he ordered and received one of those rubberized sex girls.
Oh God.
They look real.
Oh no.
They look real.
Yeah, yeah.
And he brought up, yeah, all they need now is some kind of a skeleton and a way to run it with a program. You know, and he says, I'll just get rid of my wife. That type of thing, you know. But yeah, it's getting freaky. It's getting pretty freaky out there.
Oh yeah, like the way that AI is changing and the way that technology is evolving, especially at the rate, it's getting crazy quick, and it's happening faster and faster.
First time I saw deepfake, I fell for it.
Yeah.
How in the fuck does he do that with his face? When he does his Arnold Schwarzenegger routine, he looks just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It just changes. I'm like, and then I started research. I says, man, nobody could do this shit. So, yeah, it was a deep fake. I said, oh yeah, what's that?
I mean, and we've already talked about it quite a bit on the 40 and slip and stuff. But the fact that they can do this stuff with videos, it's gonna change the way we look at everything, and it already has. Like we look.
Well, hopefully it'll make people more skeptical.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing is we already have started looking at UFO videos, Bigfoot videos, and we immediately go, "Is there CGI here?"
Correct.
You know, we've already started that, but it's getting so good now. Like it's getting to the point where it's so good.
I used to be able to take screenshots from a CGI video and load it up into my my photo processor and see whether or not it was added. I can't do that anymore. I can't do it anymore. You know, and from the way they move, I mean, you have to use all kinds of things to figure out that this is actually CG. You know, either the person that uploaded the situation. I mean, there are all kinds of things to consider. And then at the end of it, you're going, yeah, more than likely this is CG. You know,
right?
I mean, look at the options here. What's the most probable? So yeah, so you're right. It's getting tough.
Yeah, I'd like to see. You know,
spit it out, Chris. Come on.
I can't. I got distracted.
Chris.
So I can't. Phil, I can't.
With the dog or?
Yeah, the dog.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a dog.
I thought you had a dog.
I used to have dogs.
Yeah, you did. What
Not
happened
anymore? Fucking ex-wife.
Yeah. I remember that story. Okay.
The fucking ex-wife.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's another time, another place.
Yeah.
We go on.
We move on. Phil, it's been a long day. We bring this joy to the masses. I don't know why we do it. I've questioned why at this point. I enjoy it. I have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, but I've gotten to the point where I'm just like,
Oh yeah, you're going. You know, like, what's the benefit from this thing? You
sometimes
know?
I wonder.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna get online with a buddy and shoot the shit, you might as well put it out there for other people to see.
Yeah, I mean, well, and there's been a lot of times that you and I have had conversations without being live, and you've said to me, "Why are we fucking doing this live?"
That's true. We had some damn good ones.
We've had some really great off-air conversations.
Yeah,
probably better.
Maybe we're just
probably better than the
intimidated.
ones we've had on air.
All of these eyes looking at us.
Yes, I'm scared.
I don't know. Is that politically correct?
It is. Listen, it took me a long time to get comfortable with
Mhm.
the idea of being live on YouTube. The first
Yeah. Yeah.
and initially when we did the show on the 40 and slip, we didn't do it live. We recorded it and then we put it up. So, but
Mhm.
even while I was recording, I knew I was live. So I was just like, the whole time, like, and I wasn't on camera back then, so I was just talking into a
Mhm.
microphone, and I remember, the first couple of times I did Jeff's show, being just very nervous before being on air,
Mhm.
and now it's like it's fucking old hat. Like I just fucking get in front of the microphone and
Well,
turn
all of
everything
the
on.
unexplained universe was all post-production stuff.
No.
So, I mean, it really considering who we had on and the topics, and we really
Yeah.
had to.
Now, I know people that still, after doing podcasts for quite a while, still get get the butterflies in their stomach just a little bit before they get on the air.
They have to learn how to not give a shit.
Yeah, I think to some degree that's having that is a good thing. Like those, like to some degree, having those butterflies in your stomach gives you something. Because
Kind of a rush type of thing.
yeah, like yes, it's sort of a high.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas I look at it now like I get on and I just go. I just have a thing I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
But before, oh God, for the longest time, but I can't remember when it changed. When that whole thing of me being nervous doing this to me not being nervous doing this changed.
Because
But
it happened to me too, but I just like I
yeah,
said
right. I
before.
can't remember when it was, but I know that at some point in the last 6 years of doing this, that I just all of a sudden stopped being nervous when I got on the air and started talking.
Because I was the same way on Jeff's program, and a lot of the times I would not come across well.
Yeah. Yeah, we all did in the early days. We were all very, especially when we were live.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything was very. I go back and listen to some, and I'm like,
I start going into one of my my logical things, and then Ro would come on and say, "Come on, all right, let's get back on topic."
Yeah. No, I listened to my early stuff on the show, and just like it's hard. It's hard to listen to yourself when you're you're fresh and you were a deer in the headlights, and most of the stuff that was going on in your head at that time.
It's better when you get older.
Yeah,
it's a lot better than
when you get a little weathered.
Yeah,
little weathered. But yeah, on that note, Phil, let's wrap this little ditty up.
Okay.
The secret
All right.
show.
We're
going to take it out with?
What?
Oh yeah. We'll slip into the night action because it's late. That's right. Musical Star Streamers. Phil, I want you to go out and buy yourself one of those little record players.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
I know you're already on it. Slip into the Night will be returning this week, probably Saturday night.
And Katie will be slipping into something more comfortable.
It's not Katie, that's Holly.
Oh, Holly. Holly will be slipping into something more comfortable.
Get it right, Phil.
I'm sorry. See, I fucked up.
Hope you guys
sue me.
Hope you guys enjoyed the Secret Show Christmas time special. If you
have the title.
If you didn't, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah.
Get a life.
I don't give a shit. Have a drink, not on me.
Right. Yeah.
And Merry Christmas, everybody. I seriously, I hope everybody had a great one. And you guys are great. Oh, here we go. Fuck you, Phil, from Katie.
Thank you, Katie. Love you.
Everybody have a great
Does
night.
this mean you're not going to be slipping into something more comfortable, or
No, Phil, she's not going to